All right, guys, welcome back. BDTR Live, Saturday Night Live. I think we got a very interesting one here for tonight, especially for you guys over in Huntington County, because it seems like, a lot of times these elections are basically decided in the primary, but I don't think that's going to be, hopefully, that's not going to be the case with this one. And we got Kurt McConaughey's going to run a write in campaign. To keep in mind, he only lost by, I think it was less than 30 votes. We got John Hyde with us tonight, and John, you were actually, you actually ran against Kurt. Do you want to
Yes.
tell us a little bit about your campaign, so everybody can
Yeah.
kind of know who you are?
Yeah. So my name's John Hyde. I was the former borough council president in Huntington here, and I ran against. I ran. I was working for the DOC at the time. I was a trainee, and I found out that Mark Sather was going to be retiring, wasn't going to run again, and that was kind of like it just a light went on because I never wanted to run for county commissioner as long as Mark ran. Our families go back generations. I
Right.
graduated with his son, and just it was like, okay, well, this is it. I got to do it. So went and talked to my training lieutenant. They let me know, okay, that's fine. Stay with us until you have to sign some paperwork. That'll be your last day.
Hmm.
So February 6th of this year was my last day working for the DOC. I went in, got my everything I needed to petition, and started going at it. I learned a lot. I took fourth. Did really well in my area.
Hmm.
Just need to do some work in the southern half. Hopefully next time. I love this county, and I just want to see what's best for this county.
Right. So can you
I'm
tell
part of the
us?
younger generation that stayed here.
Right. Yeah. Which honestly, everywhere in Central PA, that's becoming harder and harder to see the younger generation stick around. I know
Yeah.
Blair County's the same way. What can you tell us about Kurt that makes him the best guy for the job?
So Kurt is someone who I only knew of because my father and him worked together at the prison.
Hmm.
I didn't, but meeting him and I say running against him, but honestly, we were we became friends while on the campaign trail. Yeah,
Hmm.
like he's just an extremely genuine man. He truly cares. He wants what's best for the community. You would see you see like you just see like how much people really how he's affected so many people when you're out campaigning and you're both at big public events and just people coming up and hugging him and giving him big old handshakes and you see the connections he makes.
Right.
He's got really good experience working in the DOC, managing the warehouse facilities and dealing with those budgets and inventories and managing that staff. So he's got the experience. He's a veteran,
Hmm.
um, and overall just a good human being, like someone I trust.
Right.
That means more to me than anything. Do I trust you that you're going to do what you truly think's best?
Right. So you said you guys were on friends on the campaign trail. If you had to do it over again, would you have considered dropping out of the race and just endorsing him?
Look, so yeah, you can look back and say 2020. If I knew what was going to happen,
Hmm.
yeah. Um, if knowing that I was going to take fourth, basically split the vote.
Hmm.
Him and I basically split the Scott Walls vote.
Right.
You could see in certain areas that's exactly what happened. Which it makes sense. The three of us are very similar in our views and how we ran our campaigns. Ran very honest,
Hmm.
true, positive campaigns. So it makes sense. Yeah, had I known that it would have went like that, yeah, I would have endorsed. I would have endorsed Scott and Kurt.
Right.
And I think, I genuinely think, had it been the opposite way, and if I would have finished that close, and Kurt would have been in my position, he would have done the same. Because we both, it's more important that the best interests of the county are put forth, both with Kurt and I, than who's doing it.
Right.
I can respect that. It's
Yeah.
about getting the job done right.
Absolutely. And it's interesting to me because I was trying to talk Barger from Blair County into doing a write-in, and he didn't want to do it because he was worried it might there'd be the potential for another Democrat or whatever to win, which I mean that can happen. But I think the way things are in Huntington, it's so close that it's really going to be between Kurt and Reeder. I don't think anybody else even has a shot at squeezing in there. And I think
Oh no. And in Huntington, there is no other Democrats running. There's not even anybody that's trying to. No other Democrats trying to run.
Okay.
That's not something they ever worry about.
Right.
Can attest to that.
Yeah, it's in Blair County. You never know what's going to happen. So, but so with Kurt, I mean, he, like you said, you know, he's a genuine guy and everything. And I've talked to him a little bit too. I don't know him that well. I think I've had 1 or 2 phone conversations with him, and I definitely think it's hard in politics nowadays to find somebody who's genuine, even at the local level. So I think that's definitely an advantage that he has.
And we need more of that, though, because if we can get genuine at the local level, maybe
Oh,
you can
yeah.
start
Well, no,
that
like,
domino
that was-
effect and get to the whole way up.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Like I remember the day he called my dad when he found out I was running,
Mm-hmm.
and he just wanted to like, hey Mark, I didn't know John was doing this. Like I'm really interested in doing it too. And he felt he was like wanting to apologize. My dad's like, no, if it's something you want to do, you do it, and may the best man win. Which is how I've felt too, because I remember meeting him and like spending my first time. We were down at Pate's in Mount Union,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like the first public appearance we both had together with some of the other Republicans. And I left, and I can remember calling my dad and be like, "Uh-oh, he's got the one thing I'm really good at.
Right.
He's got that people mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Like he connects with people really well." And I'm like, that's my strength. That's always what I've been able to do, and that's my advantage over others.
Mm-hmm.
Is just how good of a people person I am.
That is
And-
critical.
And when I was like, I'm like, oh no, he's that too, but he's had 30 more years to make the connections than I have.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble.
Yeah, that definitely makes a difference. That's for sure.
I just
And
love,
like it is because like it was really funny. I like losing to when he beat me, it didn't hurt me for a second because I knew he ran his campaign the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I did not mind losing to him at all.
Right. Well, and I mean, I think you did pretty good, all things considered, especially when you had the dark money mailers that got sent out on your behalf.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, I would still love to know who got the ball rolling on that. I can remember getting a call from the voters office, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to approve, like, fill out this paperwork for something." I'm like, I go down there, they're showing it to me. I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
Right.
Like, I'm like, I found out that day that like the PAC originated in Virginia, but their treasurer's from Alabama.
what?
Yeah, I found that out. That's about as far as I know. I know they did this for candidates in Bedford County, Fulton County, all over the state of Pennsylvania.
Wow.
That's
Like-
weird.
But they just formed this year.
Mm-hmm.
No idea. I have no idea where that came from.
Well,
Or
and
how they got
that's
a
the
hold of my
problem. Is that it probably did have a negative impact because you have this mystery stuff coming
most
from out of
certainly.
state. You know.
And when you come from a small rural community, like outsiders can be a real issue.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
People trust those
Right.
people that they know and they've are from here.
Exactly.
So anything that comes from the outside, they're going to be very wary of.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What?
And
I know.
I did my best to try distance from it, but it is what it is.
Right. So another thing that we had talked a little bit about offline is, there were some people, we don't know who for sure, but some people would, accused you of being a dirty liberal. And do you want to address that?
Yeah, so we're part of that. So I had people saying that I was a Democrat in disguise, that I had ran as a Democrat before, and that if I lost, I was going to run for a Democrat in the future.
Right.
It's a public record. Like I've ran as a Republican 3 times now. Never ran as Democrat. As I was joking with you guys, I voted for Bob Dole in the elementary school presidential election. Like, got a pretty long history of voting of being a Republican.
Right.
I had certain candidate, like somebody was spreading around that I was a homosexual, which shouldn't matter. I'm not, like I'm straight, but it shouldn't matter if I was.
Right.
I don't know why that would play any effect into it. I think part of that came from when I was on council. We voted in a non-discrimination ordinance, and it got taken way out of hand. That it was this giant trans rights bill, and that's not what it was.
Right.
Like, for all you people who are all this fake news stuff, you could have took 2 minutes and looked at the bill.
Yeah, actually read it before you complain about it. Yeah.
Right, and because every single person that I talked to and sat down and was like trying to drill me on it, by the time we were done, they're like, "Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. I don't see a problem with that." I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah, shocking, isn't it?"
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. That's why, I
Yeah.
suggested it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it's like, I thought it was pretty good too. That's why I helped write it.
that's unreal. But I mean, that happens all the time. It's that you know what? That's what drives me nuts. You can put together like all the information in one place, and there's still people that are like, "Well, I'm not going to take the time to read that, but this is my opinion on it." It's like, really?
We were just
Exactly.
bitching about that earlier.
Yep.
Because, yes, I was running as a Republican. I was Republican president of council, but I support everybody that lives inside the borough.
Right.
Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. So when that group came to me and the borough manager at the time were the only two Republicans in the room. And I saw what they wanted to pass, and I looked at them and I said, "I'm gonna be honest, you're wasting your time. If I don't support this, it doesn't go through."
Right.
And so we sat down and we hammered it out. We had public meetings on it and got it to a point where it just tried to keep things local. Any issues it was just housing and work. That's all it was really about. You couldn't discriminate. And if you did, you had voluntary mediation.
Right.
You tried to, I wanted to keep it, I wanted to not spend taxpayer money at the state level and with frivolous stuff and to be able to keep things local.
Yep.
Appreciated.
That's where that came from. And you know what? Great thing about it, it's never once had been activated. It's there if it needs to be, but it's never had to be activated.
Well,
That's
I mean,
really good.
that's definitely a good sign. So,
Yes. I love our community. I think we have a great community. We just had this, I don't know if you guys are part of any of these Huntington Happy or a couple other sites. We had a woman message today that she was homeless and she's waiting. She has a few more days before assistance kicks in. Is there anybody that could spare a room for her and her kids to stay in? And within a couple hours of that happening, over $1,000 was raised with gift cards to make sure they never had to leave their hotel room.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's what I love about this community.
Yeah.
People come together when there isn't a problem. They make it work. When our family business burned down, my family has Huntington Electric Motors. When that burned down, we didn't miss a day of work. We had companies that we've worked for with this in this community give us all their extra spaces. Our guys never were down for a single day.
Right.
Like Baxter Mechanical and Reharts instantly stepped up and said, "We've been working with you guys for decades. Here's space." They both said it. Get to work. Do whatever we can do to help you.
Right.
That's what this area is all about.
That's one thing I adore about Huntington County, and that's what inevitably kind of pushed me back into and actually being willing to come on and do the podcast stuff was when Tim Simpson was running, because I do love Huntington County because it still has heart. When you're in that town, like we were there recently for a wedding, and like being back in town, I was just like, breath of fresh air. The one place in Pennsylvania I still actually like to be in, and I was so excited to go through like downtown and see, holy crap, the roadwork's done. And like now there's this little restaurant, and this little place is open. There's all this new stuff.
Like you can get Latin and Vietnamese food in downtown Huntington.
I know.
Who would have ever thought that would happen?
Oh, please help me remember the name of it. The little tavern that's in downtown near the funeral home, John Brown's funeral home. That's the place you can get the Vietnamese, the pho.
Stonetown.
Is that downtown?
Yeah, Stonetown Tavern.
Okay, that's where we went with the bridal party, because after, the bride got her hair and her makeup did, and she looked all pretty and stuff, we were all hungry. That's where we ended up going. I didn't even know that existed, so like shout out to them. That food was fantastic. fantastic, and like
Yes,
the whole experience was wonderful. If you haven't checked it out,
Fan is
go.
awesome. She's the sweetest woman.
The
And
whole
her food
atmosphere
is
was
incredible.
great. It was so
Yes, that
good.
place
Like
is great. They've done such an awesome job with it.
the back area is so pretty.
It's so cool. They did such a great job with it, and that's what I want to see. Like that was my whole thing when I was on council. Was all right. Look at downtown Bedford. There is no reason downtown Huntington can't be downtown Bedford.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Like Bedford doesn't have a college. Bedford doesn't have Racetown Lake.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they've got the resort. They've got the Bedford Springs.
Mm-hmm.
But I said like, we have all this. We need to ramp up and take full advantage.
It's
And
getting
that was
there,
my main
though.
focus.
It's getting
And
there,
it
though,
is.
because
You're
even the
seeing it.
bridesmaids, like me and myself, like haven't been in Huntington recently, so like to go back and see how it's changed in such a positive way from the last time I was there. Like a lot of these other girls have been gone for years, and they were even like, "Damn, Huntington got nice while it's gone. Of course, it got nice after I left. Like, I shouldn't have left."
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we're getting ready to put in a nice big amphitheater up on Flagpole Hill.
Oh, that'd
You're gonna be able to have like cool music acts up there. Like
that'll
there's
be really
so much
cool.
cool stuff happening.
That makes me really happy
It's
to hear.
really exciting, and the whole county is I really feel like the whole county is just like on the verge of a renaissance.
Well, and that's why we probably need to get out there and vote for Kurt, because I think
Yes.
if Reeder gets in there,
It's going to
he's-
destroy what
he's-
little progress it's made. Okay, we got to keep progress
he
going
doesn't
forward.
yeah, he doesn't fit with the way
No.
the county's moving. So
The heart and soul
and
has
that was
come
the thing
back
I've
to it.
learned. It was a real issue. Like I said, I didn't mind losing to Kurt. I didn't mind losing to Scott.
mhm,
Honesty was because it was always honest with those two.
right.
It really bothered me that Patrick stayed working at the prison
Hmm.
and that he was there when he was, or I'm getting reports that he's promising to pave roads and get farmers grants. And I'm like, EK, either he doesn't know the job position.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. It's like the guys that
Those
run
empty
on pro
promises.
Second Amendment when you run for county commissioner. They don't have any control
Right.
over that.
Right. And I'm like, one of two things. He's either not being honest with these people or he doesn't know the job. Either way,
Right.
this isn't right. This
No.
doesn't work. Like
It doesn't fit Huntington.
anybody that knows anything about how government works, that's like roads are all up to in each individual municipality. You get your liquid fuels from the state every year. That's
Yep.
your budget. And grants, you pray to God for them, but who knows if they're coming.
Right.
So that bothered me when I was hearing that come in.
Well, yeah, because like we were just saying, Huntington's on the up and up, and like you said, you ran an honest campaign. You didn't mind losing to other honest people, but now you got this. I'll say it since no one else will. This literal shitbag that's in there going for it for all the wrong reasons. Like Huntington's on the up and up. It deserves that chance to thrive again. I don't want to see some asshole get in there and destroy it. That's still my
And that was
home, no
my
matter how
whole
far
thing.
away.
That was literally my slogan. Was I grew up watching Huntington survive. Now it's time to see us thrive.
Hmm.
Bingo.
And I really believe we can do that. And I really want to help Kurt. He's a really good man, and I truly believe he's the right man for the job.
Well, and I think the deciding factor is going to be whether people actually go out and vote, because there's going to be those people that just check whatever box is on the ballot. But if enough people go out and write Kurt in, I fully believe he can pull this off.
Yes, he needs to it's the big thing to overcome is the mail-in vote, because we can have people at every polling station in the county all day, but it doesn't matter for all those mail-in votes. So right now is the important time for people to get out and tell their neighbors, tell their friends, tell people at church that
Right.
they know can't make it to the ballot box that day.
Hmm.
Go to the diners.
Make sure when you do your mailing in, make sure you write in Kurt.
Right.
It's huge. Like, it is really vital.
But seriously, though, guys, go down to the diners. That's like one of the best ways to spread information in Huntington that I've found.
That's true.
Go down to Donna's, go to Route 22. I'm sure there's more I'm missing, but those are my two personal favorites. Like,
yeah, you go, you find the brain trust. You get there with when the old boys' brain trusts are there, and you find all the old farmers, and they'll get the word out.
Yep.
Good old boys, because they actually care, and you could tell. And they've
they
entrusted
care,
that
they
dream to their
vote.
kids. They've entrusted it to even there's a lot of new people behind it. But the people that come there, if they ain't there for the right reasons, they don't seem to last real long. But the ones that actually
They
give a
don't last
damn,
very long, and the ones that do are the ones that came here because they see what it is and they see why it
exactly,
is the way it is.
exactly. Huntington will always have heart and soul. We
Exactly.
Yep.
just tell everybody, tell your neighbor, share it with everybody, please. I want to see Huntington continue to thrive, even though we're down here now. 'Cause,
Yes,
like
and
I said, it's always home.
I truly believe that Kurt and Scott will do a great job working together to get that done.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing too is you need the commissioners need to work together, so you can't have somebody in there that doesn't want to be a team player either. So
Exactly. We've got a good crew in there right now. The three of them have worked very well together, and I was hoping I was going to be able to learn from Scott, and but if it can't be me, I really pray that it is Kurt.
right.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
Okay, so is there? I mean, I think we covered the gist of it. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would like to add, just as a general thing, the Republicans for Huntington County are having an outreach at the Mill Creek Fire Hall on next Saturday, the 23rd. I believe it's from 11 to 7. We're gonna have speakers, musicians, games, food. It should be a really nice outing. Hopefully, the weather is good for it. I'm personally going to be having a booth for you could just come in, play cornhole, and sign up to win a Miller Lite cornhole board set that we got donated. And any donations made are going to go to the veteran share program for Huntington County. Also, there'll be a sign up sheet. We're looking to form Huntington County Young Republicans. If anybody's interested, they can get in contact with me on Facebook, or my email's johnh6556@gmail.com. I'm anybody from 18 to 40. You're looking to get more involved, we'd love to have you. And yeah, thanks for having me.
If you have if there's any kind of like post with that information, or if you don't mind making a post, then or just even
Yeah,
if
we can
sending it
share
to
it
us,
just
yeah,
so it's easier for everybody to
because
see
if
it.
they're
I'll
not
share it.
listening,
Yep,
we'll
I'll
at
get
least
that
put the info
together,
out
and
for you.
Okay,
We'll get that together and do that.
awesome.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks
guys.
for being on the show, man.
Yep. Hey, you guys have a great night.
Yep,
You
you
too.
too. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, guys. So, I mean, I think this one's really going to be decided by who decides to get out and vote. And I know I've talked about this before. You know, I understand, especially with the presidential election, people feel like their vote doesn't count and all this and that. Both Blair County and Huntington County primaries were decided by less than 30 votes. So don't even try to tell me your vote doesn't count. Okay.
Your vote counts now more than ever,
Yeah.
especially now more than ever on every level. We talk about, amongst ourselves on this page everywhere, every single day. We want to see change. We want to see change. We want to see change. Gotta do something about it.
Yeah.
Doesn't just happen by dreaming.
What's your favorite quote? Don't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result.
We're getting a call and you're lucky.
BDTR Live, what's on your mind?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. The mixer was not
Way
cooperating
loud.
there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to yell in your ear too.
You still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I'm out at a public event, so I stepped outside.
Okay.
Well, thank you for calling in, especially since it sounds like you have a busy evening and you're taking time to join us. We
Mhm.
appreciate that.
Absolutely. So who are you voting
Absolutely.
for?
Well, I will be voting for, of course, Scott Walls, and I will be also supporting the write-in candidacy of Kurt McConaughey for the Huntington County Commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to elaborate why, or do you have questions? I'm not sure how this works.
Honestly, the floor is yours. You called in. It's kind of like he said, whatever's on your mind tonight. If you want to talk about why you're going to vote that way, if there's anything that you want to share as to why you won't vote another way, the floor is yours. It's whatever you want to talk about. We're just here to listen.
Yep.
Sure, I will. First of all, I'd like to say that a lot of people are they're somber, about what's going on in the federal and the state government, all the corruption, things like that going on. I'm a person who I don't really consider myself a Republican or a Democrat. I listen to all sides and I vote for who I think is the best candidate.
Mm-hmm.
And I recently, probably about maybe 7 or 8 years ago, started vetting my own candidates. And I'm not a professional vetter by any means. But I have been listening to all the candidates for the Huntington County Commissioner's Office because, of course, I'm a resident of Huntington County. And I found out that Mr. Patrick Reeder is in violation of the ethics code and I can tell you that exact ethics code is Title 71, Section 205. And how I know that is because I actually spoke to an attorney from the Pennsylvania State Ethics Committee, which is part of the governor's office and the Pennsylvania Department of State office. And when I'm speaking with him, I was referenced to not only Cumberland County, but Beaver County, who have removed Republicans from office, causing counties to have to then pay for special elections because for whatever reason, people are not following the ethics code, which are actually can be criminal if they don't do that. So Mr. Reeder, from what I have found out, and these are factual information, not rumors, he works for the Department of Corrections, and I originally supported John Hyde for county commissioner, who I adore, and I know he loves the county, the borough. He loves everything about Huntington. But he did not make the primaries, and I understand he's supporting Mr. Kurt McConaughey as well.
Yep.
And the reason that I'm doing that is because I was informed by an attorney at the Pennsylvania State Ethics Committee that if Mr. Reeder were to take office, just like in Beaver County, and this is what he told me to reference, Beaver County, Pennsylvania, then he would be removed from office and Huntington County would then have to pay for a special election to then...
Sounds like that'd be a real mess.
It would be. It would cost the county money for no reason because it sounds like this Reeder is running knowing he shouldn't. He's willing to gamble it.
I've had contact with Mr. Reeder privately because he'd said things on his page that he has not said to me. Now, we've been in contact privately because I wanted to kind of let him know what I've been told privately and hoping that, because, I mean, now, I don't know what your actual name is there, Mr. Charles, with me, but I do know that you're a veteran. And I tend to hold veterans to a higher standard, whether people agree with that or not. I just do.
Right.
And we do sign contracts working with the state because I'm not working with the state currently, but I have in the past. Not with the Department of Corrections, but I have in the past. We sign contracts with the state. We cannot even hold a yard sign in our yard. We're not allowed to be involved in election process at all.
Right.
Now, Hurt had stated to me that he had sought permission, was denied, appealed it, was denied, and did not have the time to deny it or appeal that process. Now, my statement back to him was that, you're going to end up costing the county money. And his only recourse is, well, I'm a combat veteran. And I want to make it very clear. I respect his service and I thank him for his service. I truly do. It's something that people go through that I don't even understand and I could not even begin to comprehend. However, when you break an ethics violation for the Department of State, especially when the Democratic Party is involved, there is an attorney at the Pennsylvania Department of Ethics Committee, which ran out of the governor's office, had told me that they had recently removed someone from Beaver County, Pennsylvania, and also Cumberland County, Pennsylvania, who had broken in the Republican Party that ethics code. So he will not be charged or removed at this point. But if he should be elected and take office, he will be removed and then costing taxpayers in our county additional money, which I don't know, but I would assume would cause a tax hike.
Well, that, and so basically, if you vote for Patrick, you're wasting your vote.
Basically, all you're doing is spit in
Exactly.
your own face because if all it's going to do is blow up in your face,
Yep.
it sounds like. This man's willing to gamble with all of Huntington County for his own personal means. Clearly, he doesn't give a shit, or he would have stepped down. And excuse my language, I don't mean to be so brash. I usually am
No,
on the channel, but I try to be polite with our guests. I apologize, but
Right.
that just really upsets me because like you're literally two-faced. I love my county. I'm going to do all this to benefit it, even though I know if I take office, it's going to end up hurting the county.
Well,
The
he's going to
heck?
get himself in, so it's
Exactly.
like it's not really benefit. I don't
No.
understand what benefit there
And
is
I'm
for
sorry,
him to
I
not
also
just withdraw.
I respect being a veteran. I respect the combat vet, but that doesn't give you a free pass, dude.
Well, you can be in the military and still be a shitbag.
We've seen that plenty of times.
You definitely, you're right. You definitely can. But I would say that I do tend to hold veterans at a higher standard, and maybe that's on me.
Well, and he
I
should
mean,
No,
he
they
should know
be-
better. He
He
should know better.
because we are held to a higher standard. That's why we had to go through boot camp and all this other ridiculous training and, your uniform being so meticulous. We are supposed to be held to a higher standard. And anyone who's in the military, I know especially the Marines, once a Marine, always a Marine. I know I personally, even though I wasn't in that long, I still carried that thought when I got out. I still hold myself to a higher standard. I feel like I should know better above anybody. Like I should be up a little bit higher when it comes to critique. So for him to fall that
Exactly.
hard on his face and to be so bold as to say, well, it's because, I'm a combat veteran, so I should get a free pass. No, sir, it means you should know the hell a lot better.
Yep.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what I had told Patrick in private messages, and he had shared information with me that he most likely should not have, and I agreed with him that I would not share that information. So I will keep my word with that.
Well, and this is
But
important too
He's
for
well aware.
for people
well
to
aware.
understand that you have already tried to resolve this, and he's basically refused to accept the situation.
I do respect that
Exactly.
you
I
still,
have tried
even
to
after all that, are going
privately
to honor your
resolve-
word. That means a lot to
Yeah.
still honor your word after all that. We do
Yep.
appreciate that. We will never ask you or any guest that if you give your word to not say something, we will never push the questions and make you uncomfortable to feel like you might have to redact on that.
Yep.
Make it clear, we won't push it.
Yep.
If you can't talk, we won't ask.
Yes, I have privately tried to resolve this with Patrick, and the only thing that came out of it was him stating that I was threatening his child, and I would not bring I have a child. I would not bring a child into this. I did not threaten his child. I did not contact him at 3 a.m. I have absolutely no affiliation with the Borough Council in Mount Union. I don't know if I've ever even been in Mount Union, to be honest. I've been a resident of Huntington County for 11 years. I consider this my home.
Mm-hmm.
My stake in this is only as a constituent. I don't even really know Kurt McConaughey that well. I've only recently begun to vet him and learn more about him, and that is who I'm going to choose to support and vote for, and encourage my friends to vote for, and anyone really who's listening to vote for, because if you vote for Patrick Reeder, you are going to be complicit in our county having to pay for a special election when he is removed per the state ethics commission. Sorry for my slip up here. But per the state ethics commission, and he actually could be facing criminal charges.
Mm-hmm.
The only person that has brought his son into this has been him.
Right. Well, and I know
Um,
we all kind of think that, because I don't know for sure. I didn't fetch anybody's IP address or anything. Maybe I should, but that Stephen Yetter, we believe it was him, and he was on there saying about now this was a couple months ago around the primary, but this Stephen Yetter, whether he's a real person or his reader, I have no idea. It doesn't really matter. But he was claiming
It does not.
that he had some ties to, Blair County corruption groups, and he exposed Ted Simpson. I'm like, dude, 90% of the Ted Simpson stuff came from me. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I also follow the same page, right?
Yeah.
And I also had to pull this Yetter in from DMs because he had actually threatened Mr. Jonathan Hyde, who I was backing in the primary. Because, like I said, John truly cares about this county.
Oh yeah, we just talked to him. Yeah,
you can
absolutely.
feel it in the way he
Yeah.
talks. He's very passionate about Huntington.
Yep.
Yes. And so he was actually threatening Mr. Hyde's parents. And that person is 100% involved with Mr. Reeder and other convicts, previous convicts, I should say. One is currently in a community correction center in Johnstown. I can say that because it's factual. Is also making comments as well. Trying to intimidate voters, people speaking out. I'm just speaking the truth because I care about my county and I don't want people to have to pay for a special election. People are hurting already. The price of gas, groceries, electricity, oil.
Yep.
You name it. It's up. Inflation's up.
Well, and I'm assuming if he would be removed from office, you're going to be down a commissioner for X amount of time until it gets squared away, right?
Oh no,
so that's going to screw up the whole process. Yeah.
Right. And also with his, and this is what the attorney from the Pennsylvania State Ethics Committee had told me, is that they would, in fact, remove him from office once he took office. They won't intervene before, once he took office. But then what I really want residents of Huntington County to understand is we are going to be stuck, the taxpayers, with that bill to hold another special election
when it's not necessary to begin with.
The right thing.
Exactly. See, I'm sorry. It just absolutely infuriates me. Anybody, especially like this happened with the Ted Simpson crap. That one dude in the comments that I won't even name because he's not worth mentioning, basically threatening people that if you question Ted or if you don't vote for Ted, essentially, blah, blah, blah. Nah, that's not how this crap works. This is not back in the day, old mobsters that they can show up at your house. Like, shut the hell up. People are allowed to have an opinion and people are going to go vote. And anybody listening, seriously, do not let that ever intimidate you. Do not let anybody ever intimidate you for following your moral code and your own thought and what's in your heart. I'm sorry. Nah, go out and vote. Don't let some jackass saying, nah, don't let that stop you.
I know I know what the state ethics code is because I have worked for state universities in the past. I've had to sign the same contract. I was not even allowed to put a yard sign for who I supported in my yard, not alone run for an office. And he knew, and I could prove this with screenshots, but I don't really want to have to do that. I could prove with screenshots that he knows that he signed that contract. The very same contract that everyone that works with the Department of Civil Service, the state of Pennsylvania, works with, that they are not allowed to run without permission. And he told me specifically that he did not have permission. He sought permission and it was denied, but he ran anyway. So he basically was getting Department of Corrections salary while running for office.
So pretty much if he refuses to just withdraw, he's just hurting everybody, including himself, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, that's correct. From what the attorney at the Pennsylvania Department of Ethics Committee had said was that if he takes office, that is when they would step in. And they have done so in 2 other counties.
And that sounds like they're already watching.
So it's not going to be Huntington County concerned citizens arresting him. It's going to be the actual police.
Yeah.
No, it has nothing to do with the county. It has nothing to do with the Republican committee. It is the Pennsylvania Department of State. Because when you violate, and from my understanding and from this attorney, this is not the first time that Mr. Reeder had violated this. His civil service agreement. It is the second time. In fact, what they had told me was that he had actually taken office or accepted a position as a borough council member, but was told that he had to do one or the other. So this is the second time, and I think that may be why they may be watching him, because the Department of Corrections is obligated to report that ethical violation.
So this man's just playing
So
with
if
fire
you're,
and doesn't care.
I guess my message is if you're a resident of Huntington County and you don't want to have your taxes raised, because I don't see another way to pay for a special election, or if you don't have to go through any more of this, is simply not to vote him in.
Mhm.
Because if you vote for him, this is what's going to happen. He will be removed, and we will have to pay as a county for a special election.
You'll be
Right.
shooting yourself quite literally in the foot.
Yes, exactly. And he claims to be for the county, but if you're for the county, then why would you not do the right thing for the
Exactly.
county? Yeah.
We've clearly heard other candidates that were completely content with losing because it didn't matter about them, but it mattered about the county. Clearly, there's enough people running that actually care about the county.
Yep.
It should be pretty clear. Let's not vote for the one person that's throwing every red flag, neon sign, waving a banner, screaming at the top of his lungs, I don't give a shit about the county.
Well, we dodged the Ted Simpson bullet, so hopefully we can dodge this one too.
Right.
I have complete faith in Huntington County.
My other concern would be that he did not have me blocked until this time. He has been contacting me, but has stated that I've been contacting him. I have answered him. I have explained this to him. I've been very transparent with him because he originally said he respected my transparency. But he recently blocked me. He has deleted my posts from his public county commissioners race platform.
This sounds familiar.
And he has limited who can post on there.
Yeah.
So if
He's
you
literally
cannot-
taken a chapter out of Ted Simpson running. Jesus. That's almost
Right,
hit a
I
T
mean,
what that man did.
Yep.
Exactly. At this point, if you cannot handle one person criticizing you, how are you going to handle multiple employees, other county commissioners who you have to work with, along with the constituents who are going to be bombarding your office with issues daily?
Yep.
And that's the thing.
I don't see it.
And you're going to have to deal
originally
with
did not think he was
controversy.
unethical, but yeah.
Yeah, this is like a burning dumpster fire that just keeps getting brighter, apparently. I thought Ted was bad, but it's all, this is Ted 2.0.
Well, I mean, I think we pretty much, if there's still people out there that are going to vote for him, like, you get what you fucking deserve sometimes.
But like we said, tell everybody, go to your local diners, go to the gas, go to anywhere.
Mhm.
Tell your neighbor, go to church and tell the
Share
whole
the
congregation.
podcast.
Share the podcast, seriously. And like for those of
Yes,
you
share
who
the
are new,
podcast.
like
I'm watching an Amish buggy go by. I may stop him and share with him. I don't know. I just know that as a citizen, I do not want to have to support the bill for a special election because someone who I hold to a higher standard simply refuses to follow the ethical code that he signed a contract for. And I want to make that very clear. He signed a contract as a employee of the Department of Corrections that he would not be involved politically unless given permission, and we are never given permission. And he said he was denied permission.
so on top of it all, he's a liar.
Shocker.
I know, but like that, you know how that rubs me the wrong way.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for calling in. We really appreciate it. I think hopefully everybody's on the same page now because there's absolutely zero. It's a total net negative if you vote for Reader. So you've been warned.
Yeah, a vote, in my opinion, a vote for Reader is a vote for higher taxes because you're going to have to pay. And this is not up to the county. This is not up to me. This is up to the state.
Yep.
Who, let's face it, is run by Democrats. And they're coming for Republicans, and they have done so in 2 counties already.
Mm-hmm.
They're watching. They're
Yep.
watching.
Always
So that's
watching.
just that's my opinion. The other things I have stated were factual.
Right.
But that's the beautiful thing about living in America. You are 100% entitled to your opinion.
Yeah. Even though some people only like free speech when it benefits them, we're about it 24/7. So.
Bring it on, the good, the bad, and the
Yeah.
ugly. You don't have to agree to call in.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys having me on the show. I love your show. I've been watching it since before the primaries. It's a great show. So I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And I hope that, people hear this message and they really just think. I'm not here to tell anyone how to vote. I'm just here to let them know what the repercussions could be, and then they make their decision.
Right.
All you can do is lead a horse to water. You can't make it drink.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
Thank
hey,
you so much
yep.
for calling in, and thank you for taking time out of your night to actually call in. We hope you have a fabulous rest of your night as well.
Yep.
You too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
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 All right, guys. So real quick, I pulled up some stuff that I'm going to go over here.
I'm taking these off. My ears hurt. I tried. Okay.
All right. So for those, now I'm assuming most people are going to watch this are probably registered to vote. If for whatever reason you aren't and you watch this and like, hey, maybe I should get involved in the election and do something about this, you still have until October 23rd to register to vote. You can do it online. You go down the how to register to vote here. It'll bring the online applications right here. You fill it out. Obviously, I'm already registered, so I'm not going to go through and fill everything out. But guys,
we will
vote.
we will share this link if it's something that anyone's interested in. We'll be sure to share it on the page to make it easy in case you can't read. I know it's probably hard to read it on the tiny screens that you're looking at, but we'll be sure to share that information with you all.
Super simple. Like there's no excuse to not be registered to vote, except that you might get selected for jury selection, but that's fine too, and then you can go spread jury nullification. Yeah.
Because that's the thing, guys. Like, and I've even, as you know, been in the boat of like, oh, my voice doesn't count, my vote doesn't count, blah, blah, blah. Too many people think like that.
Mm-hmm.
We got to start taking our voice back. You got to start going at the vote because change has to begin with you.
Yep.
And I know that sounds cheesy as shit, and I even feel cheesy saying it, but literally, change begins with you. You have to speak up. You have to make your opinion known, or elsewise, you would never know other people share that opinion. And honestly, that kind of dawned on me of all things when I was doing Uber. Especially being an Uber, I pick up, and you picked up so many different kinds of people, different walks of life. And it always intrigued me. I know I'm a lot more chatty than you when it came to that job.
Oh, yeah.
But it just blew my mind that there's all these different kinds of people. But at the end of the day, we all kind of feel and think the same way. But because of one reason or another, nobody speaks up. We need to start speaking up. There's other people that have the same thought, that share the same voice as you. And if we all start speaking up together, great things can happen.
Yeah,
but we gotta start.
The media does a great job of trying to keep everybody divided, make everybody think
really
that we're
not.
yeah, that's
people are so much more closer now than you would even think.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that. I'm grateful that I had an opportunity to witness that firsthand. So I have that thought in my head when I go about in the way I am, I don't know. I wish more people realized that. And that's why I finally am speaking up, because I realized, well, you know what? You can't, bit of a hypocrite if I preach it, but I'm not doing it, and yeah, all that good stuff.
All right, guys. Well, I guess we're not going to get any more calls here. I guess we'll wrap it up for tonight. And like I said, hopefully everybody learned the important lesson tonight of don't vote for Reader because it's going to cost you more in the long run.
If you take nothing else away from this is going to be the one time I don't tell you guys to think,
Oh, and I guarantee
do your own research, but like seriously, don't vote for Reader.
I guarantee
Please.
Patrick's watching. So, dude, you just need to do
100%.
the right thing and step down. Like, it's not hard.
If you actually give a damn about this county,
prove it.
It would exactly prove it. People of the county would respect you a hell of a lot more if you actually step down right now than if you were to rake them across the coals by doing the wrong thing and making them pay for it.
Yep. All right, guys. So, like I said, make sure you register to vote if you're not registered and actually vote.
Please.
So, that's all we got for you. So, till next time.